Oh, well, they're not going to look at us, so they're going to look at the shared screen. Hello, everyone.
Be front and center.
Yeah, because I'm
for you.
let's see.
If I sit in the back, I won't be able to read nothing. Mug right there in front.
Agárreme las
Yeah.
cosas.
No, I don't.
Agárrame las manos. Se está lavando las manos. Vaya a agarrarme las cosas.
Austin,
Oh,
Austin,
trouble.
go back and wash your hands, right?
What's on your shirt,
Ava? What's on your shirt, Ava?
I'm getting in trouble.
Right, she was like, excuse you? How dare you not know? My bad. Ugh.
Do you see where the attitude? Like,
I love their
Yes, but
attitude so much.
Hers is not even like a quarter of that one.
Literally,
That
they'll
one-
just roll their eyes like I love their attitude. Their mom
Oh,
probably
man.
doesn't. It comes in handy sometimes, but not always for you, probably.
but it's I was like, that's literally my attitude when my mom
That's how we feel.
Right.
I love it.
Well, there's no
So cute.
One no, you
No attitude.
Some of us have vámonos, and some of us we just.
Vámonos. Vení.
Your pants that stays that it's acceptable.
Aw.
Oh, unfortunate.
Your shoes are so cute, Elena. I want myself a pair.
They're all following you like little ducks.
Right?
It's okay.
Miss Ruby has her ducks in a row.
Yeah.
More like a herd.
It's more than ducks.
Feral cats.
Yes.
She's got her feral cats in a row.
We can be
On my post-it note, can I just put kids?
Oh, now you don't have to.
Yeah, she used to sit there. She's like, oh,
Miss
now
Shannon,
I
on my post-it note, can I just write
Just kids. Yep. That explains it all.
Girl, I know, but we always
Kids.
sitting in these, we're like, hope they hold. They do so far.
hope they hold.
For me, yes. Every time I sit in them, I'm like, hopefully that works.
Hold it, yeah.
Oh, I'm from KS.
She's super.
That's what happens.
You're
when
probably
a
like
teacher.
What's your Enneagram number, Miss Shannon?
I don't know mine either.
Now you gotta do your Enneagram. Who in here knows what an Enneagram is? Please.
No, tell us.
It's like a personality test.
I did mine once and I forgot.
Oh, I'm a straight A. It's the
All
worst one
right,
you
there's
could be.
one-sided sheet. They're both identical.
You're a what?
Starting them on other
An
sides.
8. An 8? I think I was 5.
I could see you in a five.
I don't know what that means.
What's the good?
I mean, they're all supposed to be good. I just always say that I have the bad one because mine's like the most hard-headed one.
He's asking for the Zoom link.
Okay, let's give it to her. I already got some people on here.
Okay, Miss Shannon for being like a 1, a 2, or.
Oh, I can definitely see a 1.
She's on the group message.
All right, let's do it.
Some of these people on this group message me wild.
They cannot hear you.
I
Oh,
just want to always send memes on.
I'm just kidding, y'all.
I never know
I didn't
if
say
it's
that.
like professional.
Did you find Daddy doll?
Daddy doll was in the big part of book bag.
Oh, is it in his backpack?
Yeah,
Cause
Tanner put it in that book.
Oh, we were looking for it. I couldn't find it.
We tried to put it in the little part.
Oh, okay.
Tanner said put it in all day.
Okay, cause I said mommy doll today. We can't find Daddy doll.
Is that your son?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let cover you this. I'm gonna check cover. Oh, so you got the dollar was in the big part of the book bag?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that. I just sent mommy doll today.
Okay, check his book bag.
Okay.
Tanner has to put it
Okay.
in a bigger part of the book bag, because he's trying to squeeze it in the little part.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Miss Shannon.
Yeah.
Do you like pranks or you don't like pranks?
I used to be a big prankster, but now with kids, we just prank Eden.
Oh my God.
She likes being scared.
She likes being
So I wanna take it
That
off.
makes sense.
Have you
I can
ever
see-
done the chocolate soup on her?
No.
I tell my mom
You
be
should.
here till Friday.
Although I feel like Eden would just be like,
I gotta go to our job and have some.
oh, I feel like Eden's very proper.
Sometimes.
I feel like she'd just be like,
Yeah, it's mommy knows in there. So we can't find it.
So she was an infant, we used to give her, mommy, mommy.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Miss Mimi?
Yeah.
Mommy, help me.
She'll look, but
She should find it. Maybe it's got some really good.
I feel like
Yeah.
she speaks very
One
like.
day it was like that.
I know.
Sometimes you put it in
You're right.
okay.
but if it's not in there, you might take it home. Put it up somewhere.
Yeah, we'll have to look, keep looking.
Okay.
Well, at least we have mommy.
Yeah, mommy knows.
Yeah, but mom,
Well, we
dad
checked my
leaves on
degrees
Thursday.
in
so I'm
college.
not
Oh
sure.
no, the flyer's at 6:30.
Go Jesus.
Oh wow.
All of these.
Well,
Eh,
they're here.
you know what? It's whatever.
They're here.
Oh well. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
here.
recording it, everyone
Hey,
can
we'll
hear.
start.
It really is. There's so many workers.
All right.
Maybe that's why not a lot of people stayed. They thought I was gonna start at 6:30. You'll get it in no time. Like, give yourself another week or so and you'll have
I know Miss Mimi today said he is just growing every day.
He is, he got up from lunch day, so I'm ready
Well,
now.
and some, when you first start,
Did
they
he
look
eat
like
each other?
Yeah, yeah.
and then after you get to know them, they don't look anything alike. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, we're the
I'm
same
like-
kid. Yeah, it's so weird.
Get in there, let's lay down there. You
Oh, that's like one like
Try to get in
Oh,
there,
he
lay
did
down.
Well, you know, I'm
Put
sure.
your hand on there. He woke up,
Then I did.
but now he say, I'm ready to go home. Like, go back, he said. And I said, well, I said, but you left your, I said, dang, I said, like, it's not there, there you go. So he went over there with a book bag. He said, well, what? What you want to put? I said,
When I was a
put
kid,
it up. So he
color was
tried to squeeze it in the back. But he said,
gray, no, and
I said, Tanner said,
I know, the flyer said, I had a, I had like my 2000 saved. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, now she wants to share.
so yeah, he was really
Now
excited
she
for
does.
that.
Carrie, I gotta write these questions down.
I said, Daddy,
yeah.
we had convinced him. First we said,
Yeah.
play.
Well, come on.
Then he goes,
Oh, yeah, I'm ready now.
we're first and then, first and then, first and then.
They were just trading out
That's
for.
what meaning he just transitioned.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
He really is.
Right.
Who's missing? Okay.
What are you rapping?
It's a crisis. I don't even know.
Miss Kiana asked if you could let her in the meeting.
Yes. I'll let you all in the meeting.
now I see
No school might.
No.
No,
I say with that. he said
Oh,
with that.
somebody asked me if we were closed on the 11th.
We are not closed. So NC pre-K out, I know. And, so that we chose to have an extra day at Christmas. So NC pre-K is closed and the half day is closed. And then NC pre-K wraparound will come into this building, but we're open. So the child care, of course. That's a good, I should probably let everybody know.
So once you guys set something up, then you'll be able.
I'm sorry, y'all, to put on mine either. I'm sorry about what you're doing from
There she goes. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it's 6 o'clock and everyone thinks it's 6:30.
Hey, you did very good. I gave you supplies and you went for
I
it.
know, you, thank you for all the supplies, I really did.
You needed all that.
I
There's
did.
a burner, a mask,
And then I felt
gloves.
so bad because I was gagging and gagging, I was just like,
Today be a work day.
You said what?
Yeah, no, lots of toilet paper, that's fun.
no, literally, he put so much toilet paper in it, it soaked up all the toilet bowl water.
But I bet
Ew.
you, I bet you it's fine.
No, it wasn't, we had to take him in the other bathroom and give him 5 wipes. I'm
Ew.
not even kidding, it was bad. Alrighty.
Definitely did the toilet.
Switch topics.
Real quick.
Real quick. Okay, so if they're not on yet, Madison, you just keep an eye on that for me. If it's, oh, you don't have eyes, hold on.
She don't have a.
I'll keep glancing at it for people want in, because it said 6:30 on the flyer. That's my, sorry, my fault too. And, so if they don't get it, they'll just watch the recorded one. It's recording right now. And on the post-it notes, what is one recent early childhood education struggle you faced? And then on another post-it note, or on the same one, doesn't matter to me, what is one recent early childhood education success you want to celebrate?
Here they all come, they're all checking in.
Everybody's like, I thought it was 6:30.
I know, I'm sorry, everyone.
I thought, yeah, look at this. I thought it was 6:30.
If anybody in here wants to share while we're waiting for more people to join us, either the struggle or the celebration. Miss Michelle.
Number one is none, because that's my degree. And the most successful is making a difference in young children.
Yeah, every day. Anybody want to share this?
Mine was putting a child to sleep that has a fear of sleeping.
Yeah, that's a good one. The hard one. That's a tough one. Successes?
I don't know about any struggles. I'm trying to come up with that.
Well, that's
I
good.
feel like I can't really but successes, I feel like me and Hannah are in a really good place with our class and then listening to rules and expectations. So I'm really thankful for that because it makes your day go by so much smoother and easy to transition. So that's a good success, I guess.
Yeah, agreed. Routines and expectations. It takes a lot of patience and persistence. But it's definitely worth it in the end because your kids can become self-sufficient in a bunch of different areas, no matter what age group. So Hannah said no poop stories today, Cassie. Okay, I'm gonna admit the last person and then I'll check again in a couple minutes. So if you just want to hold on to your Post-its and then we can share them little by little if you care to. I'll do it on your behalf if you'd like and just leave them on the table. And we can do it that way because I know some people just you're at the end of the day on a Tuesday and it was a long Tuesday, so I can appreciate that. All right, let's get in here. Screw that. Okay. So the super staff member of the month of September, we're always a month behind, remember, is flexible and agreeable when asked to jump into another classroom, bless you, supportive of her fellow coworkers, efficient and great work ethic, uses kind words and tones to students and coworkers, which is extremely important. Joined as a co-teacher and a great team player, and that's Miss Raquel. So we want to say congratulations. She is still sick, so I think she worked and then went home to rest. But yes, yay to Miss Raquel, and her things will be in her cubby. Okay, we want to welcome to our school Danielle, who's been working in room 10 and room 9. But I think you enjoy 10 and 9. So we'll make a decision soon. Charisse, subbing in NC Pre-K currently, and then working for school age. Welcome, Miss Charisse. Takesha in room 3. I think I introduced you last month, but I'll do it again. Hi, Miss Takesha. Miss Jeannie has been working in room 6 and school age. Hi, Miss Jeannie. Where is she? I thought I heard her. There you go. And Allison is actually Miss Jeannie's daughter, and she's working as a flex teacher currently, kind of finding her groove where she feels the most comfortable. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. So October newsletter highlights, you've probably already seen it. And we have Spirit Week coming up. We have our trunk or treat. We have tons of things. Our parade is the day before the trunk or treat. So everyone's going to be costumed up and walking around. If you have any questions about any of these events, I am going to go over them briefly. But if you have more questions, feel free to ask. So we already talked about sample radio calls last time, but just for those who are new to our school, we wanted to share them again. We have parents and visitors come to the building regularly now, at least up to age 2. So we want to make sure we keep all the calls professional and short and sweet. If you're talking about a weather check, you just say weather check, please, and someone will check the weather. Typically, it's Miss Michelle. She'll tell you if we're in the red, which means you cannot go outside. If we're in the yellow, which means it's about 20 minutes outdoors. and then you can swap back and forth within your hour. So it's 20 minutes out, 20 minutes in, 20 minutes out, which accumulates to 60 minutes. And temperature of a child, temp check in a room, whatever it may be. If you're over ratio, which could happen if people are calling out in the morning, which has happened more often than not lately, you just call for admin to room, whatever it may be, and then we will try to solve the problem as fast as we can. Need assistance with a student, admin assistance to room blank. So that means that you need us quicker than need, what we would expect. So if you ask for assistance, then we know you need us right away. If it's a kitchen need, Pam's typically available until about 10:45, and then she's serving lunch. So please make sure if you need something from her, you're calling her before that. Otherwise, we'll come help you with bedding and laundry and different things like that. If you'd like extras, make sure you ask Pam, can we have extras in room, and then fill in the blank. If she has extras, she will happily bring them to you. If you have a general question or need, admin to room blank whenever you can. So we'll be there as soon as we can. If we're on the phone, if we're working with somebody else, we'll be there next. And if you need a bathroom break, obviously the right termination is bathroom break in room such and such. So we know to come hustle in. If you are sharing responsibilities in your classroom with co-teachers, we have a T-chart with teacher A and teacher B. And with this T-chart, many of you already filled it out, but there have been some classroom changes of co-teachers. So I wanted to reiterate this, is if teacher A is doing something, what is teacher B expected to do? Now, that doesn't mean that someone's the lead, someone's the assistant at all times. It's if you're this person changing diapers, what's that other person expected to be doing? If you're the person who's working in small group, what's the other person expected to be doing? If you're the person hosting circle time and you have some stragglers who choose not to join circle time, what's the other person doing? Just an expectation. It could be either one of you at any time, but it's good to set that precedence and an understanding of what should be happening in the classroom. You're sharing all responsibilities because you're co-teachers. So if you are trading off lesson plans and 1 week so-and-so does it, the next week the other person does it, you have that understanding. You're alternating days, you're alternating hours, whatever the case may be that works for your classroom. Now let me let Taylor. Okay. Okay. And opening teachers, before you leave, we already said this, but please try to do it. There have been trash bags throughout the hallway and it's really just looks gross. So can you please take the trash bags out, whether it's your lunch break, whether you're on your way out the door, grab it and go. That way the hallways are clean, the classrooms don't have old trash in them, and even little toddlers, they're trying to try to go through the trash if it's left in the room. So clearing it out, I understand that it's an extra step, but it really is something that helps us out in the end of the day. Replenishing supplies. If you know your class is short on toilet paper, tissues, wipes, gloves, whatever the case may be, if it's active rest and you happen to have some spare moments, then you can go and do those at that time as well. And then the closers are going through the checklist. Some checklists are a little different than others. If you're in an infant or a toddler classroom, they're going to have something to do with the changing table, something to do with, help me out, in toddlers, something else, but it's on the checklist there. It's towards the bottom and it's specific to those rooms. Some teachers have put in additional things because their classroom's a little differently arranged. So just check the checklist if you are a closer, and that would be greatly helpful. Social emotional boxes is a Ruby thing.
So every classroom got one. I made one for every single room. You had a book. Teach your friends how to calm down, and you had a list of things to help you in case, because it's not always about the child being agitated and in the mood. Sometimes we need some guidance because we're also up there. So this little pamphlet was there to help you get yourself and your thoughts together. We had little activities, and depending on your age group, you got different tools. Most of your boxes are either empty or on a shelf, and they are rarely used. Children are not going to learn how to use these items and calm themselves down if you're not taking the time to show them how to use it. You can incorporate it during circle time. Like, friends, what is this? This is how we use it. Why do we use it? Questions like that. Have them engage with it, and then actually sit there and practice with them. Is a moment or a child having an emotional breakdown or a challenge, give them options out of the calm down kit. Again, sitting on your shelf, it's not going to do you any good. So if you need replacements because they've been broken, let me know, because some of these items, they're not meant to last, especially if the child is agitated. Or if you want specific items in your calm down box, let me know. 'Cause again, you know your kids better than I do. I've just generalized it. Some things, some teachers like, some things we realize that we're not good fit all age groups. So that's just my brief reminder on the calm down boxes.
All right. Yes, okay. So we do have to teach them when to use Cozy and what to do with the materials to make them successful. If you just let them have at it, you're going to see a lot of broken objects in your Cozy area. You're going to see more than one child in Cozy. You're going to see playing in Cozy. It's a place for them to de-escalate, for them to be by themselves, to soothe themselves and use the materials that are in there. So this is Miss Becky Bailey. This is a little bit about star breathing. You can incorporate it into your Cozy. It's just a small clip. It talks about the strategy itself. And then while you're watching, think about when throughout your day did you implement star breathing in the future? So where could you implement this and make a plan to implement it coming up? I just want to make sure it plays.
It's not shallow breathing from your chest. It's from your belly. So I encourage you to practice this with actually having your hand on your belly.
Oh.
And you're going to smile, which just
She
starts
started
to
too far,
relax the
sorry.
muscles.
There
It's
we go.
not. It's not shallow breathing from your chest. It's not shallow breathing from your chest.
We're all gonna
It's
get
not-
annoyed by Becky.
It's not shallow.
All right,
It's
stop,
not-
stop, Becky, stop.
It's not shallow breathing from your chest. It's from your belly. So I encourage you to practice.
All right, let's see. Okay, let's start her again. Technical difficulties.
It's not shallow breathing from your
All
chest.
right. So what she says in the beginning,
It's not shallow.
what she says in the beginning is it's star. And she's telling you about how to implement this in the classroom, that they should have a tool that they use like the windmill to focus on when they're breathing. And then this is where she goes from there. Okay. Sorry.
It's not shallow breathing from your chest. It's from your belly. So I encourage you to practice this with actually having your hand on your belly. And you're going to smile, which just starts to relax the muscles in
So
your
as
face.
a
Once you
smile,
relax your jaw, your internal state automatically starts shifting. Take a deep breath. The belly's going to go out.
T
And relax. Have your belly go in.
and A and R is and relax.
If you notice what I just did, my exhale was longer than my inhale. The focus is on the exhale. When we breathe in, we take in the beauty of life. When we exhale, we let go of that which is no longer needed, the bitterness, the resentfulness we carry around, and the harshness of the morning, allowing us each moment to take in a new perspective and a new outlook on life. If you're not breathing deeply from your belly, you're breathing from your shoulders generally. It looks like this. A deep breath would look. That's a bull ready to fight, not a belly relaxing a body. Also, we breathe very shallow. You can't even see any movement in it. So it's from the chest and just barely movement in the air. Shallow breathing is a sign, as it continues to be more shallow, a sign of depression. So how would we teach this to children with special needs? How would we teach this to 2-year-olds or toddlers? First, we can use our new star breathing tool. So you have the children smell the flower. We want them to breathe through their nose. So often we will touch their nose and say, smell the flower. So they would touch their nose, they go, and then they exhale and blow out the pinwheel through their mouth. This allows them to exhale longer, which will automatically make the inhale longer the next time, causing more movement in the belly. Each Tuesday in our staff meetings, we take a few deep breaths to kind of center ourselves as part of our Brain Smart Start. One of the things that you're asked is just to notice your breathing. And as you just notice, like right now, whoever's watching, just notice, is that breathing shallow? Is it deep? Where are you breathing from? Are you breathing much at all? And so just noticing that breath automatically
Oh, sorry, everyone.
starts to change it. So as you notice it, you'll notice yourself starting to, oh, go back to that which is natural. That natural belly breathing is natural when we notice it and we're in the present moment. But when we're off thinking about things we need to get done or should be doing, our breathing becomes very shallow because we're in a fight or flight situation, always on high alert, thinking we don't have time to get this done. So once again, everyone smile, take a deep breath, and just relax.
All right, Becky. So ignore this for a second, but using STAR, it could definitely apply to all age groups, starting with toddlers. It's something that you can do in a small moment of time with one child or a small group and really teach them a way to self-regulate. So it's something that's useful. If you want to watch the video again, it's recorded here. It didn't record very well because we just had some technical difficulties, but the PowerPoint will be sent to you. So you can go back and rewatch it. She has little snippets like that throughout her website, which I find helpful because I have a very short attention span. So watching little snippets, learning from that snippet, implementing it, and then moving on to the next one is helpful. So moving on to engagement and supervision. If you're spending your day discussing your personal life or gossiping, how can you teach and engage students? So if you find yourself talking more about yourself than about your children or engaging your children, take a step back and think about how can I now engage my kids? Maybe you want to talk about something that did happen this weekend and you want to tie it into your learning in your lesson. That's awesome. But if you're having relationship conversations with your coworkers, perhaps not the right environment in the classroom. You can have a happy hour with your friends. I used to be the happy hour queen in Baltimore County, and I would invite the whole school. We'd have like 30 teachers show up and we would have a great time. It was about one Friday every month and it was awesome. And that was our time to relax, socialize, and we all became closer because of that. And I suggest that, but I cannot endorse it. So have at it.
Put me on your listening.
Yes.
So if you have engaged children, they are more likely to be safe because you're engaging them in an activity rather than if they're bored and they go seek out nonsense. That in mind, if you get on their level and speak with them about something, so you've engaged them in an activity, but they're still not able to participate in a safe way, please get on their level. Even if you just need to sit in a chair and talk to them, that's going to engage them in the conversation and get them on what you're talking about and listening. To show them what's expected, you're modeling appropriate behaviors in the classroom. If you're doing something that's inappropriate, are they going to then mimic that inappropriate behavior? So pay attention to your actions in the classroom. Pay attention to actions of the other children and who's the copycat in the classroom, who's going to follow and mimic that one instigator. Maybe we address it and nip it in the bud with a small social emotional lesson with the instigator themselves. And raising our voice to students and using harsh tones isn't really going to get us anywhere because they're going to expect that level the next time you address them doing the same thing. So if you keep an even tone and you get on their level, they're going to expect that type of conversation the next time you're addressing the misbehavior and the next time you deal out a consequence. But if you're raising your voice every time, they're already there. They're already waiting for that raised voice. So it's hard to switch back from going from a raised voice to an even tone. They're expecting you up here every time they're misbehaving. And sit with your students, sit with them and engage them. Shouldn't be sitting here and everybody else is working over there. That's not engaging your kids. Even if you're hollering at them from across the room, you want to be with them. That way they're learning with you and you can kind of like wrangle them by engaging them with your hands and getting them to pay attention and tapping on the table and making sure that they're with you and focused rather than they're over there and they're being full of nonsense and you can't get to them fast enough. So you want to be near them. And outside, set up supervision stations during outdoor time. Again, there's a blind spot. So when you're looking at the playground structure and someone gets hurt on that far side by the breakfast place, you can't see it if you're by the school. So setting somebody up, sometimes when I'm out there and I'm helping out, I go on top of the structure and I just watch kind of like around my circumference. So I'm making sure everybody's safe out there, at least in my zone. And then whoever else is by the building is watching their zone. Guiding children to avoid injury. We talked about this last time as well, but I saw somebody who was guiding a child, but they guided them by lifting their arm up. So I want to make sure that I reiterate this. When you guide a child from one place to another, make sure you put your hand firmly behind their back and you can guide their hand forward. But if their arm starts to go up, that's, might be a dislocation. So we got to be careful. You don't mean it, but those arms are so easy to dislocate. So make sure that you're guiding them by guiding their arms forward if you want them to walk with you, and then your hand is firmly on their back. If they are unwilling, and we see this all the time, they drop to the floor, they kind of throw a fit. If they're older and you can't pick them up, don't. Leave them, let them have their moment on the ground, and then readdress them. If you need assistance, call for us. We'll come hustling over. If they're 2 and under and you can pick them up like you would in a safe carry, okay, not where they're facing outwards, but around you. And if they're still flailing, you can just leave them down, let them be, have their fit, and then go from there. And hopefully your STAR breathing and your SEL kit will help you. Your calm down kit will help you. And call for us. That's what we're here for. First things families see is playgrounds. I said this last time again, but when I was outside on the playgrounds, I did see just a lot of like little garbage. So there's a Band-Aid here, there's scrapped up paper towels there, and it just takes a lot of effort to pick up those little pieces. So if we pick up the big thing at the time that it drops, we won't have to pick up little pieces of things and papers everywhere. Prospective families, if we have state roll in, even just us, we want a beautiful playground. We spent a lot of money and time and effort to make those playgrounds what they are. They used to just be dirt with no structure on some of them, and we wanted to make sure that we made them a place that's also an outdoor learning environment. So there's a lot of work went into them. We would like to keep them nice and pretty. So just make sure we're presenting a school that you want to be proud of. If you see trash outside, trash bags hanging from the fence, your trash containers are full, the closers should be able to go out and dump them. But if you are able to, before you leave, just check your playground. If it's your classroom, you want to check your playground and make sure that the trash is gone. There's no bags hanging because the rain will pour into those bags, make them heavy, break them, and then all the stuff's all over the ground. Okay. And teach your kids to pick up after themselves and push the bikes over to the side. All their little Legos and blocks get put away. And if something's broken, put it outside the fence and Mr. John will address it. Faded toys are going to happen because the sun. So we just have to be mindful of the toys that we have. If they are broken, we will replace them. Whiteboards and classroom rosters. We talked about this last time also, and make sure your rosters on the back of your whiteboard are updated. So you're going to use your meal program, make a copy of it, and just cut it out, put it on the back of your whiteboard. That way, whoever takes over your class will know first and last names of your students. Do you want them to, while I'm talking?
No.
Okay. Incident behavior reports. Just make sure you don't write it on someone else's behalf. You're writing the incident report and behavior report that you saw or you witnessed or a child told you about. If you just notice somebody has a little bump or a bruise on their face or somewhere on their body, you can write that you noticed it at that time and date because we didn't see the incident happen. And you want to make sure you put full names of the child and yourself. If you need help checking over an incident report because you have yet to really write one, find somebody that's written one and they'll help you, or you can call one of us and we'll help you. These documents are legal documents. They can be used in IEP process or when a parent wants to have a conference in court, when parents are fighting over custody, something like that. These are used that often. So we want to make sure that they're professionally done. We can also check videos. So if you're not sure what happened, play it back, you know, the exact time because you were there, or maybe you just missed it and I can go ahead and look it up for you.
Shannon, I have a quick question about the incident reports.
Sure.
So if a child comes into class with like a bump or a bruise, or they got hurt at home and then you realize it when they come to class, do you do an incident report or you just put it on their health check?
You put it on their health check, and then if you want us to check it out, we will, and we can confirm with the parents that it was beforehand. And so we can do it at that time beforehand. And then if you want to check with the parent on Class Dojo or you want us to check with them, we can do that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Teach Scholarship. Everyone should know about Teach Scholarship, but We cover and teach covers tuition, books, and travel if you take courses locally, but we recommend you don't drive anywhere, take them online. It's so much easier. You get study time up to 3 hours per week, obtain any degree related to early childhood education, and you can work towards your credentials, associate's, bachelor's, or master's degrees. And if you need help with it, just let us know. Ruby's been copying a bunch of them, so make sure that you turn them in with her with all the required documentation. CPR training, Thursday, October 14th. I will be here 6 to 8, building 2. Come join me, bring your own dinner. If you signed up, it's above the mailboxes. If you ditch me, please make sure you know you're getting charged. So don't ditch me. All right. Your trainings must get done. Do your trainings.
I gave you guys your notes. If you have a red circle, that means you are past due.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a yellow one, you have 30 days. If you're in the green, then you're golden. And then those are not it, ladies. It seems like it's an endless list. Those are the things that you have, the little circle ones, the dots, those are the ones that you're supposed to do yearly. There are some that you are required based on the position that you have. If you are unsure, I have that list too, and it'll have your name, and it's either in red or green. If you're in red, it means you are missing things for the position that you have.
Where's that list?
I have it in the office. I can print it for you, but I didn't want to. I'd already harassed you enough with that one.
Observation conferences, we're at that time of year. So please start next week observing 1 child per day. That way it doesn't build up and then you're in November and oh shoot, I have 20 kids to observe. If you need help or guidance, we are here to help you, especially if it's your first time around doing this. Observation forms and assessment sheets are in the main office, or you can find one and get it approved by admin. If you see one on Teachers Pay Teachers, you think it's perfect for your class, just check with us to make sure that it's developmentally appropriate. Preschoolers should be doing the kindergarten readiness, so that's age 4 and up. Age 3, you kind of are in that limbo where you can do the CDC milestones one, or you can do the kindergarten readiness one. Infants to 3s, just observational data and assessments if you find them, but really just observing where those children are and what you notice and where their goals should be. So when you meet with the parents, they have something tangible to take home with them. And referrals should be ready. So we have all our referral forms. Michelle has them in her drawer. So if you think someone is perfect for OT, speech, ABA therapy, they have free observations and free referrals next door. They'll come, they'll observe, they'll talk to the parents, and then it's in their hands, but at least we get that ball rolling. November meeting, we'll talk more about conferences, so just stay tuned. I'm not going to bombard you with that, but just getting prepared with the observations and the assessments themselves, that's the focus for now. Observation tools, there are 3 links here. Feel free to click them when I send the PowerPoint. This is a little synopsis page, so it came with a 5-page assessment for each kid. But this is a 1-sheeter that you can bring to the conference to talk to the parents and families about. Oh, well, so-and-so knows I'm having trouble with these letters for uppercase recognition or lowercase recognition. These are the letters I'm having trouble with. That's a way for them to take it home and work on it at home. We already talked about ABC charts, but this is another thing you might want to bring with you to your conferences, especially if there's a child that we've repeatedly tried to work with parents and you feel haven't gotten as far as you'd like, or you need more support from them. This is something, as long as it's written professionally and it's something that you've already addressed with them. You don't want to throw this at a parent that you've never talked about the ABC chart. You've never talked about your concerns about this before, and then you're going to shove 5 sheets of this at them. That's not very supportive. So we want to start with square one, which is talking to the parents, talking to them about how we're going to work with their child, implementing the ABC chart, building this evidence so that when they are 3, the parents can then go to the county and ask for that support because they are entitled to it. They are now county age for public school support, so they can go that route if we give them this support data. Fall Spirit Week. So Miss Barbie put this together. It's all about our Fun Spirit Week days. Feel free to participate yourself. We encourage all the children to participate. We're calling it fall because not everybody participates in Halloween. So it's from the 25th to the 29th. We are going to have our parade on the 29th. It's 10 a.m., right? I want to check with you. At 10 a.m. So they're welcome to watch from the outside of the fence because of COVID, so we got to keep the distance, but they can be outside the fence. They can take pictures, they can wave, they can be all excited and dress if they'd like in their costumes, but they do have to be outside the fence. students come to school in their costume, that's less changing for you. And then they'll bring a change of clothes. The older kids can obviously change themselves, but the younger ones, if you need support changing them back into their play clothes, we'd be happy to help you. So these are the days. And if any of the parents have questions, I've already posted on Facebook. You can take that image and put it on your class dojo. And this is our second annual trunk or treat. The last one was a huge success. We had over 200 families join us. That's like almost 300 kids because every family has more than one child for the most part. So, and we opened it to the public. So there were people from all around who came, all the way down in Jacksonville came, some people from Hampstead came. We have people from all over. We have lots of vendors, lots of trunks from teachers or tables with crafts. You're welcome to sell your products at tables or trunks if you choose to. You can bring a craft for the kids and families to partake in, or you can just decorate your trunk or a table and be there. If you don't want to do any of that, maybe you'll volunteer your time and help around and just welcome families, wear your costume if you feel like it. And it's a big event. We'll block off the whole parking lot. We're going to have vendors, food vendors. We're going to have 2 bounce houses, pony rides, petting zoo, 2 fire truck. Miss Rachel got a fire truck, and we still need more vendors, businesses to advertise. So even if they're a realtor, they can come and set up shop and hand out their business cards with a piece of candy. More food vendors. We have 1 currently. I'd like to have, oh, actually we did get pelicans too. So we have 2 food vendors. I'd like to get 1 more. Face painting. Anybody here want to paint some faces? Police car.
We got a nachos list on. They were really good.
I think Rachel contacted them and they're busy. Yeah. So if somebody knows a food truck, holler at me and I'll get a food truck from you. And police car, they called, but they never call me back. Donated candy and prizes. I know Hannah has some donations coming and somebody else has candy donations coming. That would be helpful because it's a lot of candy for a lot of kids and we want to make sure that everybody gets some from the stations that they visit. And if you want to do a craft, just like a make and take, I'll buy the craft supplies and then you can have it at your table. We did slime making last year, masks, like little
Face painting.
face painting was one. I already bought the face paints. I just need someone to paint the faces. So.
What time is set up for that?
Setup starts at 11:30. Yeah, so it should be ample time to get ready for 1 o'clock. You don't have to be here at 11:30, but that's what time setup starts. I know the bounce house would like to be here at that time, so that's why I did that. And any ideas? If you have any other ideas, then let me know and we can make it happen. So Hannah just came up with the idea like we did last year with the non-perishable food donations. So if you start getting non-perishable food donations, that's what it's for. The final day of it is the day of the trunk or treat. So we'll set up a box outside or probably just in the lobby. And then if you get donations, we'll pop them in there. And then on that Monday after the event, I'm sure that's the day that we'll have to bring it to where the donations are going. I don't know what place Hannah picked, but they'll get donated to families in need. So if you have donations you'd like to bring in, we'll put them in the box. Costume parade is on October 29th at 10 a.m. Like I said, you're going to start on, so try to visualize as I tell you because it's a little hard to visualize it. You're going to start on your playground. So if you share a playground, you're still going to go to that playground. Then we're going to parade clockwise around the school, going through the classroom doors and doors to the outdoors. So we're actually going to make a circle going around. So if you come out, you're going to go through room 6, come through room 5, go out, go back around, go through the toddler classroom because we're not going to walk through the baby room, and then come back out and go back around through Rachel's room and make your circle until you reach your playground again. So we're just going 1 time around. Everyone's welcome to participate. NC Pre-K should come on over and go into their big playground because there's lots of ample space there. Anyone have questions before I continue?
I just have a suggestion. If you guys want to make an activity of having your kids form a line and go in a circle, that'd be very helpful. Otherwise, we'll have a few lost babies that like to get distracted by all these pretty costumes. So.
Yeah, and we asked the
Or if
flex.
they see their parents too.
That's true, yeah. If we asked the flex teachers station in blind spots. So for example, when we walk through room 6 to room 5, you're going to have that blind spot where the teacher goes out the door, but then you might have straggling kids like Ms. Ruby just talked about. So if somebody sets up in those spots, they'll be able to catch the kid and they're still being supervised and we just kind of guide them to where they belong. It's just never pretty, but it's fun, so we're just gonna do it.
Controlled
Never,
chaos.
never pretty. I try to add things every time, it's not pretty. But the parents love it, the kids think it's a blast.
We did not, well, I guess the NC preschool will come on over into the.
Yeah, this is a big school age playground. That way there's plenty of space for everybody to spread out, and Hannah's room will be out here too, and Hannah and Cassie's. If they don't have a costume, they can use dress up stuff. If they don't want to wear, their parent says they don't participate in Halloween, or they want any costume of any kind, they could just march. We're just marching like ants if they want. If they don't even want that, then we will find a place for them to be so that they're safe, but then everyone else can still participate. Yeah, so they can just parade with us, or if they don't want that at all. So if you have a parent who you know does not celebrate Halloween in their family, just let me know if they say no to even just marching. Okay. And then bring your walkies and whiteboards, you know, because I may be hollering that somebody lost a kid. So we gotta make sure you have your walkie talkies. Before I start.
The walkies in NC pre-K are not working right.
I brought over 2 new ones the other day.
Okay.
I don't know which side they were on, but I did bring over a package with 2 of them.
Was
in
it probably
right
on the
now.
B8,
Your B.
A side, and we could barely hear them.
Oh, so you need.
So-
There
to
might be a volume control.
So,
See if you can turn the
Can
volume
you
up.
send me, well, I'll come back to Friday, but maybe I do a test run
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to the girls or review.
Yes, ma'am, okay.
Thank you. So anybody else have questions or comments about anything I talked about?
I do have a question about the parading thing.
Yes.
So when the parents are outside, do we stop for a little bit so they get pictures? Do we try to keep the line moving?
They're gonna be slow as molasses
yeah.
anyway, so they could
Yeah.
probably get a bunch of
Yeah.
pictures.
And there's gonna be downtime by the time we get, around the side,
I was
so
just
they'll
wondering for, like,
apply.
If
parents
they
that
say,
don't
hey, I
have
want a picture, I mean, don't say no. You can't.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So,
You go
no, we'll be considerate, but not, if they ask us to stop, we won't.
Okay.
Oh, we can.
So, did you say yes, I said?
Good luck.
I texted you about, the news from today, otherwise I'll save it.
No, I don't have all the details, so I don't know.
I'll just
You
give
tell-
them what we know.
All
I'll
right.
give them what we know. Okay, because I'm so excited. So, today I watched a webinar, and this isn't a slide because it just happened today. And they talked about how North Carolina, we've been getting grant money and it's fantastic. We were able to enhance the playground spaces and we were able to give bonuses. So now they have grant money, and then they have money that is specifically meant for teachers, either salaries or bonuses. So exciting. So,
Yes.
I don't know all the details, but what it is, if you are part of a private center, nonprofit center, anything that requires you to get background checked and all those requirements for early childhood education teachers, flex teachers, any staff member of a center. So even if you work in the kitchen or the main office, if you're custodial staff, they are including you. Joyce and I just have to figure out, they're giving you 2 choices. Either you can do bonuses and then they stop when the funding stops, or you do pay raises and they continue until the funding stops. And then it's like, well, where's the rest of the money that you have to maintain these pay that everyone's used to now? So we kind of have to decide what's worthwhile to you guys, what is the best option, and what can we actually maintain if we can, the pay raises. But bonuses or pay raises are pretty sweet. I just wanted to tell you guys because it's awesome. They're trying to get everybody. Yeah, I mean, it's significantly higher pay scale than what we can offer as a small center, and it's really so awesome because
And they have already approved it for what, something in
they heard it, they
2023?
approved it until June of 2023.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
like when they did
It's 2 more
the,
years on it.
is this like when they did the grant where if you have been working at a certain daycare for so long, you got like that bonus? Is that
Yeah,
what this
so
is?
it's similar to, that's QEI, so that they do typically, our second building is a QEI building. So we get grant money and people get bonuses at the end of every fiscal year, which is July to them. And you get it based on your longevity at the center. This is a little different because they're gonna take a lot of things into account. They're gonna take your education into account. They're gonna take your longevity into account, and they're gonna take our rating into account and our size of our center. So we have a pretty large small business center, 200 kids about, so they take that into account too. I mean, it's better than nothing. So we're just really excited to be able to share that with you. I know a lot of people here are waiting for raises or asking for raises, and this is a way that we can give it to you without raising tuition right away. We just raised it in June. So we understand that times are a little different right now, and we wanted to be able to tell you that because of really exciting news, and we just learned about it this afternoon.
When does that go into effect? for
Good
everybody?
question. So they're hoping that the first bank account deposit for us, so we can give to you, will be early November.
That's great.
So expect
Christmas.
like, yeah, so it'll be awesome for right around Christmas. Now, they say early November. I would expect Thanksgiving, just, you know, because it's the state. And it'll definitely be before Christmas. And then you can expect it to last because they stopped the funding June of 2023. So whether it's the bonuses that we give and spread out or the pay raises we give to that time, we'll be able to do that until that time period. Now, I don't know if the bonuses are significantly less than say a pay raise and works out differently. So that's the detail that they'll give to us later
And a
on.
lot of these things, once you've gotten to that time frame, then very often they will extend it. They have to
Yeah.
have an end date at this point. They may very well extend it if they find that it's working out well, and then it's really in need, and that we're getting better quality childcare as a result and longevity with staff. They may very well continue it. If they don't, for some reason, our biggest goal, what we have been struggling for, is to become a 4 or 5 star facility.
Okay.
We were in the process of trying to do that when COVID hit, and then they stopped doing inspections. So that's why the past 2 years we haven't been able to. They have just started doing inspections again and starting to get that ball rolling, but unfortunately they're starting with those facilities that are new facilities that are just opening up. So we won't get that for a while yet. But this would at least allow us the time to get that done and to become maybe a 5 star facility. And our reason for doing that is so that we can increase people's pay, so that we can get more grant money and more subsidy money and all of those things, because it will all go basically directly to you. So that is our goal. And at least this will give us a 2-year window to be able to get that done. So even if they don't extend it, hopefully we'll be in better shape then.
Or we can raise tuition little by little and get to that point. And did you want to share from Ms. Pam?
Yes, there were a couple things that Pam asked me to share with everybody. One of them is if children are being moved from your rooms, please do not move children that have allergies. Makes it a lot more complicated. Some of them have very bad allergies and it affects the entire room. So if you have to move a child, please don't move children that have allergies. Also, she goes around and she takes numbers. She does it earlier than she used to, and the reason is because she's got to be in the kitchen now preparing food. So when your numbers change, please call her and let her know. I know, and I've been in the kitchen many times, and you can't hear the walkies very well. So if you call and you don't hear from her, just say it again, or tell somebody else in admin so that we can let her know. She just wants to make sure she's getting enough food for everybody and that she's able to hear and like that. So she asked to relay that to everybody. If you all don't mind doing that, maybe admin at 10:30, once everybody has come in and is situated, we can make sure that the numbers haven't changed and let her know. That might even be easier when we're moving kids around like this.
Does Pam have her own number that we can call?
You can call the
She
main
does, it's
office.
the main office. You can tell us in the main office and we can get it to, it's all the same line, but she doesn't answer the phone in there. So she's just on the walkie.
And today's allergy thing was my fault. I moved a child who had allergies into an older room to spend time in there, and I didn't tell Miss Pam in time. So that
Yeah,
was
and
my
we'll find out, that child happens to have really bad allergies. So it's
Yeah.
not just him, it's the entire room that can't have what it is. So it makes a big difference for her. So I understand that. But we're gonna find a little solution to that anyway, and we'll talk about it. Another thing that I wanted to say is a lot of you are new and a lot of you have been here for a long time, and we have said this many, many times, but I feel like it's time to say it again. We heard through the grapevine that there was a lot of talk going on about things that people weren't happy about, and we're sorry for that. We try to solve problems when we can solve them. But if somebody doesn't come and tell us that they have a problem with something, we can't resolve the problem. And starting group messages and getting other staff all involved and talking amongst yourself will never solve a problem. That is just gossip. That is just creating problems. It does not solve problems because none of those people are in a position to fix the problem. So if you want a problem actually solved, go to admin. You can come and speak to any one of us in the office. You can put a note in the box outside so that you can do it anonymously if you want. Whatever the case may be, we are here to try and fix problems, but we can't do it if they don't know that they exist. I can't promise you that we will always come up with a solution. It might just mean us explaining to you the reason why something is the way it is. The fact that you don't know, we can't go around and tell everybody every time that there's a decision that gets made or every time something happens. Unfortunately, we can't. There's not enough hours in the day. So maybe there's a legitimate reason why, and you just don't know what it is. So if you come and you talk to us, we can explain to you. Maybe you have an awesome idea that you can share with us that we're not aware. Shannon and I have only been doing this for 3 years. We're winging it and getting by and figuring it out as we go along. Some things I feel like we do better. Some things maybe we don't. You all have a lot more experience than we do in a lot of things. So please share with us. If you saw something in another center that worked, let us know. We're all about change. We're all about taking ideas from other people. We all have a lot to contribute and we have no problem with listening to it and incorporating it or trying it or seeing if it helps. So please don't be afraid to talk to us about any problems that you might have or suggestions you might have.
Abigail, you had a question about the kitchen?
Yeah, so like Aria and Joelle, like in the case of them, since they are all like 3, like if we need to, I don't know if
We can
that's-
move them back and forth fairly easily. We do it right now just for number's sake because
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
4 yet. Honestly, I'll be moving more 3-year-olds into that room because right now there's a lot of spots that are open in the 4s room, in room 5 actually, because of kids that have gone over to NC preschool. And I don't have anybody on the wait list for 4s, and I have a gazillion people on the wait list to every other age. So the best thing to do is to move up kids that are 4 from the other room, put more 3-year-olds in there, which will allow more space in 2s and 3s and everybody else where I have a big wait list. So that's going to be coming. The only reason we haven't done it yet is because we haven't had any real consistency in room 6. So that's what we're working on. And and then once we do that, we'll have more 3-year-olds in there. So it really won't make a difference anyway. It won't just be Aria and Miles anymore. But they don't have allergies, so that's not a big deal anyway. They could go back and forth because it doesn't really change anything as far as the menu goes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So Joyce made lasagna, and then there's ice cream, which I'm gonna take out from the freezer. We just didn't want it to be soup, so there's ice cream sundae fixing, salad, bread.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, it's out.
Just a few minutes.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
got ice cream over there.
Something else I'm gonna do a little different today.
Oh, yeah.
Do that while we're-
While you're eating.
Start picking up some plates.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, bye everybody on Zoom.
what's wrong with you? You're looking.
Here, they are.
Bye.